Well, I think there will be changes, but I think the similarities will be much greater. We'll have the same parameters of individual tax relief for middle income earners, corporate tax relief for businesses to be able to compete globally, relief for our small businesses. So those are the overarching parameters, and you're going to see that in the Senate bill. We're going to be dropping our bill on Thursday, but I think we have great unity around the direction that we want to go, but there's still things that we need to have differences with the House to iron out.
Will carried interest, will that loophole still exist in the Senate bill?
You know, I think that remains to be seen. I asked that very question yesterday in speaking with the Finance Committee. I think it was something that obviously the president talked about a lot during the campaign, to want that loophole to be closed. And so I think you see it closing on the House side, and I would expect to reflect that in the Senate. But until Thursday comes, I wouldn't know for sure.
You know, I think through it, this tax plan offers tax cuts to a lot of people, a lot of individuals, but there are going to be people who are going to be paying higher taxes. A lot of that will fall on upper income people who are earning wages versus upper income people, really wealthy people who use carried interest. And I understand what the House has done to include this timeline, stretching it to 3 years instead of 1 year for holding it. But if you really think about it, it's a loophole because it's wages, right? If you get a fee for putting people's money into some investment, it's still a fee, it's still wages. And if you're going to be talking about everybody paying more or everybody paying their fair share at the upper end to make sure the lower end can get some tax cuts, it seems ludicrous to even keep it in, even with a 3-year holding period. I mean, I get deferred compensation and I get to hold money for that, but I still pay real wages on that when that money comes back out. Why would we keep 15% interest on any amount of holding time for somebody who is at the wealthiest levels of America?
Well, I think you'll see as we move through the Senate bill that we want fairness is one of the hallmarks here, and also to make sure that we can target the relief to the middle earner, to the person who can't make it to the end of the month, and has no leftover money. So, you know, I think that this is the discussion that we're going to have in the Finance Committee. It was interesting to me that it was included in at least partially included in the House bill yesterday, which I think probably is a harbinger of what's going to happen over here in the Senate. But as I said, until we actually get that bill on Thursday, we don't know for sure.
You know, the other issue is obviously they were holding on to the details because they don't want lobbyists kind of swarming in and everybody trying to protect their own house with some of these issues. But it also makes it pretty difficult for the public to try and figure out what it's going to mean for them. What would you telegraph to people? Yeah, I mean, what I would say to the general public is, to my constituents in West Virginia, 83% of them filed a simple form. You're going to get a doubling of your standard deduction. You're going to have a child tax credit that's going to go up $600 per child. That's significant relief for the middle income earner, and the simplification aspect, which doesn't get talked about very much, I think also is an enormous relief to small businesses and to individuals. All of the other pushes and pulls, I mean, certainly we understand that in order to get to the numbers that we need to get to, we got to tweak here and tweak there. But we want to make sure that we can close those loopholes so that at the end of the day, the story isn't the one that, you know, the wealthiest individuals are getting the biggest breaks here, because that's not what we want. That's not the direction the president wants to take this, and that's not the direction I want to go either. When we look at the Senate bill, do you expect that we will see a permanent 20% tax rate for corporations, or is that just a heavier lift when it comes to the Senate?
You know, that's the goal, and it's amazing to me, having sat through many meetings on tax reform with my colleagues. We are very unified on this, and that's one number that we're very unified on.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.